Jharkhand. It's day 15 of the students' protest, and even now there is no breakthrough. So the deadlock between the protesters and the government continues. The protesters have now warned of assembly Gherao protest, and the students have made it clear that until their demands are met, they are not going to stop. So the delegation is meeting ministers and officials, and as of now, there is no conclusion. The deadlock has continued. The students have made it clear that they are very clear with their demands, and the students have said that until their demands are met, they are not going to call off the stir. Remember, this is after 15 days of the protest that the government is now meeting the protesters. But the protesters have been very clear that until their demands are met, they are not going to call off the protest. In fact, they have now also threatened a march to the assembly. What will the response of the government be is going to be interesting, because remember, as of now, the government has not given in to the demands of the protesters. There have been 2 rounds of talks with the protesters, and it has been very clear that the deadlock has only continued. There has been no consensus yet. And the students have said that their demands are genuine, that there have been multiple irregularities, so they want some accountability. And they say that the response from the government has not been fair, and that's the reason why they're continuing their protest. So the students are saying that their demands are genuine, that they have continued to wait for the government to respond, and because there has been no response yet, or because the government has made it clear that they are not giving into the demands, that's the reason why they are protesting. So the government has held talks with the various outfits and the protesters over the issue of paper leak in the recruitment examinations. As the meeting concluded, the students said that their grievances have been told very clearly to the Chief Minister.
We wanted to initiate the dialogue some 3-4 days back, and we sent this proposal to students. We are in solidarity with the students, and we are with their genuine demands, whatever they have. And since yesterday, we have had series of consultations, and different organizations and associations are approaching us for a dialogue. So the committee has been meeting now. We have apprised our Chief Minister about it, and I'm sure that very soon we'll reach to a conclusion.
There's a common demand among all organizations or all wings which are meeting to you, that 14 JPSC PT examinations should be cancelled. What is the government or your delegation is thinking of that?
See, students have come up with very good suggestions, very genuine concerns they have raised, and government is ready to resolve those. So we should just wait for a while and see that how it comes up.
So government is considering to...
Yes, we are with students. We are with their genuine causes.
Let's go across to my colleague Dev Kotak joining us on the broadcast with the details. So Dev, the students have put forth their demands. What happened in this meeting? Clearly there's been no breakthrough.
Well, yes, it's been more than 24 hours. It's an absolute stalemate until now. The delegations, there are actually 4 different factions out here. One is of Devendra Mahato, one is of the people who have met yesterday, comprising of the 10-member delegation. These people are expected to meet again with the ministers. The minister who has been very active has been Mr. Kumar out here, and he has been saying that while we are trying to resolve the demands entirely and reach a stalemate, because tomorrow is Sunday, and on Monday, which is the 10th of August, a massive protest of nearly about 50,000 people going to the Vidhan Bhavan has been planned. So they want to avoid any kind of law and order or untoward situations that can really affect with the regular running of the state. We saw the the ABVP protest as well, where they were engaged with the cops while they were trying to march to the CM's residence. So Hemant Soren himself has also been very actively involved, and he is in touch with his ministers in terms of whether the demands can be complied with entirely or not. But they have time only until today evening, or max until today night, because being a Sunday tomorrow, we really don't have any kind of expectations in terms of the stalemate or the problem to be solved as such. But Monday is going to be a rather very crucial day. These However, the main point of contention out here is going to be the CBI probe, where they don't know whether the CBI can be pressed into action yet or not. However, a lot of students are saying that the CBI probe had been ordered previously as well, but nothing really came out of it, and only the CID has been sort of pressed into action until then. But they don't really have much hope. At the moment, they are still continuing their demands, continuing to fast at the stadium. They have said that these are the things, including the cancellation of exams, is something that we have continued to press for, and now it's only a matter of time that the government listens. Otherwise, we could see this enveloping or growing into something much more massive and major, because, like I mentioned, Monday is going to be a crucial day. Vidhan Bhavan, 50,000 people coming out there, including a majority chunk of them being students. So, of course, whether the police or the administration, they want to avoid any kind of clashes with the students. So these are the kind of details that we have at this point in time. But the students are definitely a disgruntled lot, very miffed with the fact that they have been preparing for the last 2 years. What about those who have been giving the exam on meritorious grounds? They have been putting in the kind of effort with utmost honesty and sincerity, but yet things like these happen. So they have been demanding that a foolproof method be pressed into action, and to avoid any kind of untoward incidents, leaks, or deeper level corruption that is engaged in the education system out here in the state of Jharkhand at large.
Okay, all right, Dev, stay with us. So let's get our viewers more breaking updates coming in. So there has been no breakthrough, and the students have now threatened to escalate their protests. They say that they will be marching towards the assembly as well. 15 days they've been protesting for a response from the government. 2 meetings, and there's been no consensus yet. We have more breaking updates now coming in. Clearly no breakthrough yet. Now, the stir has also reached the top court, so it takes a legal turn as well, with a plea being filed in the Supreme Court seeking an independent CBI probe. Remember, this is one of the demands of the students. They had demanded the government to intervene. The students have been saying that the probe must be transferred to the CBI or a panel of retired High Court judges from outside the state, and now the plea reaches the top court.
We have filed the petition in Supreme Court of India in the favor of Jharkhand students who are protesting against the Jharkhand government, against the JPSC exam. We have filed the petition on behalf of the political leader and social activist Harisaran Devan. We have demanded in the prayer, first, cancel the JPSC exam, second, reconduct of the exam. Also, we have demanded in the prayer that there must be a CBI investigation. All the investigation which is going on, that should be handed over to the CBI. We have also demanded in the prayer that there must be an independent committee headed by the retired judges. We have also demanded in the prayer that there must be an audit with respect to the exams which is going on. Most probably the matter will be heard in the next week.
So, Dev, the matter now reaches the Supreme Court as well, and the students have also been making this very demand for a CBI investigation. What are the details from the meeting? You said that there has been no consensus, but are there certain points that the government has agreed to, and what are the issues that the government has not agreed to?
There is nothing of that sort at this point in time. The government has merely agreed to listen to the fact that, okay, these are your demands, we will consider them, but they have not said that they will consider a particular demand or say no to a particular demand at this point in time, which is why I also mentioned the fact that it's still a stalemate. However, the government delegation, including the ministers, has been reaching out to the students to try and find an amicable solution or a resolution to this problem that is entered its 15th day being today. So you can really understand that it has been a series of hectic parleys back and forth where the students are saying while they're meeting, and they also continue to express that kind of solidarity and positivity over the fact that the government is likely to consider, but it is far from reality. Likely to consider is absolutely different from the government has rather considered. So which is why I also said that the timing is absolutely crucial, where today being a Saturday, they will have to try and close this issue by the end of day, probably by around 8-9 p.m. Because tomorrow being a Sunday, we don't expect government or any of the ministers to be working. And Monday, these guys not threatened, but they have promised to say that they will reach the Vidhan Bhavan with a crowd of 50,000 people. And it's not just about any other political party. However, with the matter being pressed into Supreme Court and, the Supreme Court even agreeing to hear it in the first place, there is somewhere that fact that we know that court issues do take a lot of time. But the government surely does not have time. There are a lot of people who gave this exam with a lot of honesty, dedication and utmost sincerity and integrity. So what about them? They have been raising questions saying that while the paper might have been leaked, but we studied for it for 2 years. So then why can't there really be a resolution to this or to stop this problem? In fact, a few people who I spoke to this morning as well at the main protest site, they have said that while they have given tuitions, they have also been Zomato or Swiggy delivery boys to try and raise fees for their studies, to keep their house running. So you can really understand with the fact that this is a very serious issue, not just of the students of Ranchi in Jharkhand, but from the other districts and remote parts of the state as well. So therefore, it is highly imperative that a solution must come out at the earliest. But we will also continue to monitor the situation at this point in time. And we have also seen clashes between ABVP versus the police.
Okay. You mentioned the ABVP. Stay with us, Dev. ABVP has Gherao the Jharkhand Chief Minister's residence over the irregularities. In fact, the ABVP condemning the arrest of many of its Karyakartas during what they said was a peaceful march against irregularities in JPSC and JSSC examinations. So the Karyakartas marched from the Dr. Shyama Prasad Mukherjee University to the Chief Minister's residence and Gherao the residence to demand justice to the affected students. And the police officials forcibly detained dozens of Karyakartas, many of them the ABVP workers, as well as the ABVP Jharkhand State Secretary Prakash, who have been taken by the police officials. And it is the very same demand here as well. And they've, amid the politics around it, of course, the student protest has also been going on for 15 days here. And many political leaders, including the BJP, have also been drawing parallels between what's happening at Jantar Mantar or what happened in Jantar Mantar versus the response in Ranchi. And very clearly here as well in the case, they were marching towards the assembly and the police officials stopped them, similar to what happened in their parliament march. But back then there were many opposition leaders who raised a voice and gave their support to the students, who seem to be completely mum in this case.
Well, yes, here what the interesting part out here is, nowhere in the country do we see BJP and Congress uniting, but out here, in fact, they have sort of joined hands, because we see BVP coming, we also see the National Students Union of India coming. So this somewhere seems to highlight the fact that both the political arch rivals have joined hands so that the larger cause of education improvement in the state of Jharkhand can really, go to higher levels. And these leaks and the kind of corruption that is engaged inside the education system in the state.
And they, really, many pointing out, if it was about transparency in the examination process, then political leaders must speak up in this case as well, not just stay silent when it is the JMM rule Jharkhand, isn't it? Dev, thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast with all those details. We continue coming back to you for those details.